Yeah. Here we go. I remember back when I was young and clever and no one knew my name. But nowadays we only talk about the weather and nothing seems to change. Legends, we were all born to be legends. Just a matter of your dreams. Legends, we were all born to be legendary. I got a feeling that there's something that I'm needing. Got a target in my aim. I can take it, yes, I'm never gonna leave it, 'cause I'm harder than the cat.
Thank you, Shirish. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Pavan. Truly appreciate you taking the time off. It's truly an honor and a privilege to have you here, pal, today, particularly from the perspective of your contribution, understanding how busy you are as a thought leader, as a distinguished guest, and a visionarian in the field of education. I welcome you here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pavan RC, creator of the Achieve School of Education and author, a renowned TEDx speaker, communication coach, face of straight A+, the founder of a premier school in India. As his video says very quietly, you guys would have seen it earlier this morning, it's nothing short of inspirational. With a passion for education, these are some of the key elements you need to start looking at. A commitment for excellence. He has not only shaped the minds of countless students, but also left an indelible mark for the landscape of education in India. His innovative approaches, coupled with unwavering dedication, have set new standards for educational institutions at a very early age and continued pursuing for excellence. Pavan has not just built an institution, he has created a platform for fostering growth, nurturing talent, instilling the love for learning. That's why I'm kickstarting the year with you, for you, with Pavan. His insights today are boundless. Eager to absorb the wisdom he has gained through his experience, we are here ready for you, Pavan. Ladies and gentlemen, without much ado, I welcome Pavan on MRM platform. Thank you so much, Pavan. The floor is yours, pal.
Yes, thank you, David. If all of you can hear me, just raise both your hands so that I know you can actually hear me. Okay, awesome. That's cool. And a big wave for each one of you from Bangalore, India. It's evening at almost 6:15, and I've just finished all my routine, and I've just come here only to learn from each one of you and definitely share what I know that I have as experience in my life. And the first thing that comes to me whenever I see any communication from David is a bundle of energy. How many of you agree with me? He's always on the roll. Even if you had a tough day, bad day, low day, difficult times, nonsense running in the head, you don't know what to do next. And when you meet a person of this kind of energy, sometimes all our challenges just melt away. They just melt away. And there are a lot of reasons, that we know why we meet certain people in life. And there are a lot of reasons that we don't know what happens when we meet energetic people like David. Trust me on that part. Even an audio message from him is always energy for me. I met him four and a half years ago. The first time when I saw him go on the stage, I'll be honest, David, like, excuse me.
Hey, who's this guy? I remember that.
I'm sure a lot of you would have had such similar moments when you're working with him. It's like, where does he get his energy from? Why is he so hyperactive? I want to know his nutrition and what does he eat for food. Well, I just started, my time. I like to stick within time. And thank you for pausing for 1.5 minutes. It was an issue with the internet and backup, but I'm here. And I have a very simple message that I want to share. with all of you all. If everybody is ready, it's a small story, and then after that, each one of you can ask me questions if you want to, and I will definitely share the best that I can. I think you saw the introduction. It's just the timelines. I started off as a math teacher, 6 years of teaching mathematics for children, one-on-one, children from different schools in Bangalore, and then last 12 years we've been running a school. It's called Achieve School of Education, and everything else that if you google for my name, you'll see me as an author, as a TEDx speaker, as a person who's done his masters for special education and inclusion. Well, that is all for Google, and all for people who want to see me on Google, because on Google and Instagram, a lot of us show only what people want to see and not the real of us, because if you really meet me, I have so many stories of what has not been good in my life, what has not run correct in my life, and how many times I've failed, how many times I've learned, how many times I've taken 2 steps back and then done. But we really don't put those things on Google and Instagram. I wish there's a day we put everything out. I'm okay if we put everything out. So that's my timeline. That's it. And I'm a maths teacher, and my experiences, my stories are all going to revolve around children. I work a lot with children, and I role model a lot of concepts from children and people from whom I, live around with, and I really like, those experiences. So those are the things that I would probably be sharing with all of you all, and I would be more happier, um, based on your questions more than what it is about me. That's it. That's about me. Just taken 2 minutes, and the rest 58 minutes is all about you. You're more important. Your questions, your stories, your journey. That's more important. At least for me, I'm more curious about this. So one of the most common things that I encounter is it goes as a small experience. Just imagine this. There was a school on fire. Okay, touch wood, no school should be on fire, but just imagine there was a school on fire. So what's the first thing that the teachers would do? All the teachers would, in a very organized manner, get all the children out to safety and allow the fire tenders and everything else to, take place as per the procedure, right? Now that is happening. All the children are out standing on the playground, and all the teachers are also out, and all the teachers look up to children. Most of the children, or almost all the children, they're happy, they're celebrating, they're laughing, they're enjoying, they're, it's like, the best reason we all know why that is for. So most of them are like, in their mind, okay, the school is on fire, 4 5 days or 10 days of holidays, no homework, no tests, nothing is going to happen. As children, they're all celebrating that part. Only one child in tears, really in tears. Now, all the teachers are like, little confused. So all the teachers, are like, what is happening? Why is this child crying? And then one more teacher says, probably the child is really, aware of the value of education and, the school. So one teacher walks up to this child and asks, I see that you're quite emotional, you're crying, and I just want to know why you're crying. So the child, says, the school is on fire. All my friends are out, but all the teachers are outside. Please put all of them inside. So, and the story goes in a different direction from there, right? And this is one part of the journey that we all come from, right? So we are all those set of people where I represent, I teach mathematics like I shared with all of you all. There are a lot of times where we are expected to be pushed into a fire for others' happiness. I'm wondering, why? Why does this actually happen? And I want to share another story here. Okay. And my house is exactly opposite to Gold's Gym in Baswangudi in Bangalore. And Gold's Gym has this, way of doing with things with celebrities and some famous, film stars. They just give them a free membership because the minute they start coming to work out, there are a lot of people who just want to come in and see and things like that. So one of the Kannada cine stars was given a membership, and then uh, he's working and he's out of the gym and his car stops. I suddenly, see my driver, he's telling me, Pavan Anna, Anna is a brother in our language. So he says, Pavan Anna, yered nimsha bartini. So in our language, it's like, I'm just coming in 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, go. I thought, he wants to take a recess break or something like that. And then he runs to the other side of the footpath and he pulls out his phone from his pocket and he clicks on that, tiny app just to click a picture with that Sinistar right next to him. And he clicks a photo and then he comes running back to the car and he says, where do you want to go now? So for him, it was an emotion. It was everything being with that person for those 2 3 seconds, because there were people pushing people away and they were not letting everyone crowd around this particular person, and there were people who were blocking. So he was very happy getting that picture. So I asked him this, Prashant, what are you going to do with this picture? And he said, I put it on my WhatsApp status. I said, okay, what else will you do with the picture? He said, after some time I put it on Facebook also, sir, and sometime maybe I'll show it to my girl. She'll also feel good that I could take a photo with him. I put it as my DP wherever possible. I said, nice. How will you feel? He said, I feel good. I'm like, wow. And while all of this was happening, he started driving the car towards the school. And when he was driving the car towards the school, my monkey mind also was, popping up with so many questions. I was like, okay, just 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. He was so happy. He wanted to click a picture with his favorite film star. And that was like moment I could, when you see some people and when you see their faces, you don't have to, really ask them how they feel. You can just feel it. You know that they're really happy. Right? I'm sure all of us would have experienced such moments. And it is one of his moments. My monkey mind asked, slowly asked him this question. Have you ever taken a picture with me? Okay. And he's like, I have no pictures with you also. I'm like, okay. Have you put it on WhatsApp? He's like, no. Have
No.
you shared it on, your Instagram profile? Have you showed it to your girl? Have you done all the things that you said you would do it with this picture? He's like, no, I haven't done. And why are you asking me all of this? I'm like, from the last 8 years, I have always been thinking about you, your growth. I minimum at least once in 2 months, I'm like, okay, what is your next challenge? I don't want you to just keep driving me everywhere. I want you to do this role for the school. I want you to monitor children. I mean, I don't sit in the car always, right? So I always try to push him and I always want him to grow. At the back of my head, I always want everybody around me to grow. So I told him this, from so many years, Prashant, I've been thinking about you in my mind, at the back of my mind, that I want you to grow, I want you to become much better than where you are, I want you to earn more money, I want you to take more responsibility, contribute for the school. But bugger, you've not even put one picture of mine anywhere, not even bother to take a selfie. You're like, okay, forget it, Prashant. I'm not asking you more questions. You do what you want to do. And now, don't put the picture now. It's, if you put that picture of mine now, it's going to be a bigger insult for me. Don't put it. You're like, no, I'll put it. Please, I'll put it. I said, no, you're not doing it. And then when I was, of course, he knew it was fun and I was also pulling his leg and no big offense to, our conversation. And while I was sitting in that car ride, I was really introspecting. I was like, what is that cine star, the film star, has actually done to influence a common man's life? Nothing. He does a lot of movies. He earns from the common man. He takes money from them. In fact, he also promotes one or two brands and concepts and still makes more money through the common man. He just meets them for 2, 3 seconds and he just goes off. Of course, they also work hard for their share of, being a celebrity, and it's not easy. They also have their own journey, no doubt about it. But I was wondering, at the back of my mind, when I see children, students, and adults, and I've been, trying to really go push everybody and do so many things. I want to bring out something good in somebody else, but they want to put me in fire. They want to push me in fire. And somebody else is there on the other side of the road who's not done anything, who's not contributed significantly to your life, who's not paying you money, who's not taking care of you, who's not done all the things that probably what I have done. But they get the limelight, they get the whole euphoria of that picture, WhatsApp status, and everything else that whatever Prashant was telling. And I was wondering, why is life like this? I get up with my sense of purpose to add value to people, but people don't take a selfie with me or they don't acknowledge it. They don't say anything. Every day I do my work. But why somebody else, is just not probably not doing the best for you, and this is where I keep it open. I would want to ask each one of you why. Anybody can feel free and just let me know if you all are comfortable pushing your ideas on the chat box, yes, or if you're comfortable just unmuting and sharing your thoughts, or maybe you'll keep me a little happier, when you share your thoughts of, as to why a person whose purpose is to bring out the another person, the selfie is not there, but another person who's a film star, his selfie comes everywhere with a common man. Why? Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Deepa, I think you have raised your hand. Please, I would like to hear.
Yeah, we actually fantasize larger than life people and the stories, and we undervalue those who are actually within our closest circle because the relationship is so strong that we take it for granted sometimes. And as we learn in this MRM platform, also learn a lot about emotional thoughts and the reasoning why we have these emotions. I'm sorry,
Absolutely. I'm totally in for what you said. We undervalue those people around us who want to do something good in us, and we fantasize certain things. And while she's telling this, to all of us, I think all of us also have been in this spot where you've tried to do something good for someone and they've totally misinterpreted that. And that comes back in a very big way to us as if we're doing something totally wrong. And people who are so insignificant or less value and purpose, they get celebrated. Right? I see four more hands, right? So first of all, for Deepa, I would really want to give this emotion because I feel you, I've felt that, and I'm very sure a lot of us also have felt that we try to do something good for others. They come back and say, no, what good was that? That was nonsense from you. And we're like, excuse me, really? We go into an introspection, we feel, oh God. And in fact, we even I could that day while I was sitting in the car, I could have made a very powerful meaning for myself or talk to myself and think that, we never celebrated, we're never doing meaningful work. This world needs only fake artificial stuff. And that's what is going to be celebrated. But I chose not to because that is what I want to discuss with all of you all. And that would be the biggest lesson that is not taught to us in schools or not found in textbooks or never discussed, never told, not passed on to us as an asset by the traditions or generations of family. And that would be how we talk to ourselves when things are happening around us. And that makes the whole difference. We will get there. We will continue our discussion after I hear from four more of them. I think it was Prabhunath. Please share your thoughts. Thank you, sir.
Pavan, it has been really a great perspective from, this story is very unique. But
Mhm.
you see, this story unfolds in every house. It begins with the parents, the relationship with the parents and the kids. What not parents do for the kids, but kids always look for somebody else to their association. And here, the association is a matter of pride, but somebody who is known to all. I am associated with that click. The
Mm.
photograph, that click is a symbol of association, symbol of knowing, and then posting among people that look. And this is just sheer emotion, nothing else. In that emotion, you get a lot of surge, which you don't experience with your parents, with your people in day to day life. Those who
Yeah.
do everything for you, even your boss, you people who are employed in organization,
Yep.
they are paid by the company, but I doubt if anybody goes and takes a selfie with the boss.
Hmm.
That kind
Yeah.
of that was my way of
I totally,
expressing.
totally agree with you, Prabhunath, because if the boss is coming like this, sometimes some people tend to turn the face other side and go away because I don't want to get any more work or any other, delegated stuff. Let me just run away from some people. I've heard even such stories when I have interacted with some corporates, like, boss, done. If my boss is walking and coming, I'm going away somewhere else. That is what some people even say. So, yeah. And when you say parent, yes, parents are some people who give things absolutely unconditionally, I believe. I mean, they do so much, they'll end up being villains. And I am a victim of whatever you said. For the longest of the longest time, I was always thinking, why is my dad so strict? Why is he so sharp tongued? Why does he do this? Why does he, I walk into the house, I said, my article has come in, the regional newspaper today. And he's like, tell me when it comes in a national newspaper. For now, go. I'm like, no one word of appreciation. And I was like, why can't you come hug me and tell something, that you've done a good job? Why can't you be more expressive? Why can't you say this? While all this was running in my mind, only when he's not here with me today, now I realize all the things that he used to do for me without telling me that I've done this for you. And now when I do this, I regret for all those voices in my head against him. And also, I'm very happy that those voices are only in my head and they never were passed on to him. So I was also happy that, okay, though it was a voice in my head, I never shared. Right. So, absolutely right, sir. No doubt about it. I really like, what each one of you are sharing here. I will ask from, forgive me for this, but Team Incredible. That's how I see it. Okay. Go ahead.
Hello. I think people post pictures of celebrities because they want appreciation and importance from people. They want people to come and talk to them, to give them a call, to always roam around here and there around them for external validation. I think it's
Hmm.
because of that also.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. External validation has done more damage to our dreams than what anybody else can do, right? As a child, I see a broom. It was not just a broom. Always like to keep it in between my legs and fly. But today, if I do that, I don't know how I'm going to be even taken. So very rightly said. Thank you. I would
Thank
definitely, yeah, thank you. And I would like to know your name. And it'd be great if you can rename with your
Yes.
name. I'm very sure your name is not Team Incredible. I'm very sure about that. Okay. So you are
Yes.
incredible.
Today I forgot to rename my name.
Absolutely okay. Absolutely okay. So I would like to hear from Nawaz.
Hi, Pavan. Thank you for such an interesting session. Really enjoying it. What I think is that every human being naturally runs after things that they can't access easily. And that's where they are attracted to it. And your parents, your people who do things for you, they are easily accessible. So you don't really appreciate what you get easily.
Yeah.
That's what I think, why they happen to do it.
And how many of you agree with her last statement? Things that are easily accessible are not appreciated easily. How many of you agree? Just raise your hand and on that, yeah. If you just look on the screen, Nawaz, you will see almost everyone with the hands up. Then my only ask is, I have this wonderful app, and I probably may look like I'm actually promoting it, but I don't have a stake in that app. Okay, and it's also a free app, so it's called Habitify. It's called. It looks something like this. All right, the corner icon there on the 14 there, it's a hedge. So if you just Google for that, or if you
What
search
is
for
it called? Can you repeat it?
yes, I will text it. It's called Habitify. It's on the chat box. You can search
Okay.
for it. It's a free app. And what
Okay.
I have done is I have put one task inside this Habitify app that it reminds me to compliment once a day for whatever I want to. And I've been doing this from almost 130 days now. And I see a different vibe and a different energy in people when I just send a small WhatsApp note saying, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you for covering my back. Oh, you really, made my day, right? And one of the most pressing points is there are some days where the notification pops up. And now I'm like, oh, who do I compliment now? What do I do? I mean, it's like it's really like pressure sometimes. It's my case, and for some of you it must be very easy. But after you do it continuously for 130 days, almost, there's a lot of gratitude that is overflowing, and trust me, it comes back. It comes back. When there was one point where I asked one of my mentor, I said, I showered all my love to one person for 11 years, and I didn't even get that particular person to stand for me or my stance once. What is this? I'm really broken and hurt inside. What should I do? And the person only said, givers are getters. You have given and you will get it back. Don't worry about it. You may not get it from the same person who you gave it to, but universe will give you from many directions in many different ways. And only such statements calm me down. Otherwise, I was like, what I did this and that for you, and I was, what is it? And you like this. I think a lot of us would, really connect with me on that part. And it's like, you did this, and is this what we get back from you? Right? I mean, oh, is it okay if I am openly sharing everything like this? I really don't know how the forum
You're
works.
on track,
Oh,
Pavan.
yes,
You're on
we
track.
truly
Thank you so much.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nivas. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will like to hear from Shirish and Sirat. Both of them can talk if you want to. Please go ahead.
Yes, very good evening. I'm happy to listen to you, Pavan. You're a great storyteller. Let me start with that. What came to my mind when you shared the stories? Yes, my maths teacher, who I used to really, really hate, and then also, but it made me realize that why the film actor, I love the stark difference between the two, is that one of them puts you in your comfort zone where you are relaxed and don't have to do anything, and the other one keeps you on your foot and keeps you moving, your mind, body, and your soul, just like David. He keeps you going, and it's in the long run. one of you is taking to a fantasy land where you are becoming a zombie, a dummy, and it's not getting you, any benefit out of it. And the other one is making you grow and progress and work your life towards a better future. And look at the stark difference of what kind of a reaction we have towards both of them. Thank you for bringing it to our notice. Selfish is also hard.
Yeah, sorry. I just want to build on that. The people who make us do difficult things are often turn out to be villains in our eyes because we don't want to get out of that comfort zone, as Sirat mentioned. So, to those people who persistently work with us, work upon us, that mindset shift needs to happen for us to recognize that these are the people who are actually making a difference, and that doesn't come because it's not taught in schools, it's not taught to us at all, like anywhere. So yeah, we need to incorporate that in our daily lives, and probably that's where the change is going to happen.
And also we'd like to add that we have our DP with David.
Yes.
I really like all of these kind of conversations because I stopped sharing PowerPoints from a long time. I felt, what is the use of a PowerPoint if there is no power in our points? Right? And there is
Exactly.
simply
I'm going to use that. I loved it.
feel free because I have borrowed this from somebody else. It's not mine for sure, 100%. So, yeah, and with what both of them said, it's so true that when somebody is trying to make something out of us, resistance towards them or towards that. It's a natural, the unconscious response because the unconscious mind always wants an established set pattern. It wants a very safe, comfortable, neat, and a protective life. I've realized that unconscious is the biggest protector of ours. And it is doing a good job. We need protection. Somebody throws a ball on our face, we immediately, blink, close our eyes, use our hands for defense. These are all automatic movements. 90% of our body is driven automatically. Unfortunately, the same unconscious mind, in the name of protection, does this that it does not allow us to grow, because when we want to grow, we take risks. When we take risks, we fail. When we fail, we have to face people. We have to listen to criticism. We have to, even feel bad. We have to, attach all kinds of emotion. So unconscious is a very safe player. It says, don't do anything big. Don't do it. Don't take risks. Just relax. Have fun. Let life be a set process. So sometimes, or probably most of the times, I'll take the word back. Sometimes I will say, most of the times, we need someone who is always from a higher space of thinking to challenge us. If you don't have a coach, if you don't have a mentor, I believe you're not growing. I am blessed. So sorry, I'm saying that. I thoroughly believe that you're not growing because Sachin Tendulkar has a coach. A.R. Rahman had a music teacher. Messi had a football coach. Amitabh Bachchan, had an inspiration of his father, writing poems for him and inspiring him to do things. Everyone has a source of, their energy. Literally everyone. Till date, I've not met one successful person who said, I am successful all because of me. No. And if they say that, then a double cross, do not get inspired by them. For me being a person, I would run away from such people anyway. So look at what each one of you are doing. Each one of you are attending a mastermind. Look at what your competition is doing at 6:15 or at, I don't know which time zone each one of you are from. I definitely see some, people from India also. What is your competitor doing? Chilling? Beer? Movie? Relaxing? Taking a walk? But what are we doing? Ready to learn, ready to take it forward. So if there is someone very rude to you, if there is someone, if they're pushing you to your next level, if someone is pressurizing you. Somebody is creating good amount of stress in you in a meaningful way. Whatever I say is to be attached in a meaningful way, then they are your blessing in disguise. Right? They're really blessing in disguise. I am, before I hear from Akanksha and Nadeem, I have to tell you this part of the story. Many years ago, I watched a movie called Dangal by Amir Khan, and some of you would have watched that, but I'll definitely share the story. So, Amir Khan really works a lot to push both his daughters to become national level wrestlers and international level wrestlers. But up until the first half of the movie, both the daughters hate the father. They even curse him like, why was I even born in this particular house and why is he even my father? He doesn't let me eat pani puri. He wakes me at 5. He ties sacks of sand and asks me to drag and run. I wish I was not born as his daughter. There are other kids who are happily going to school, simply cooking at home. But there is a moment in the movie where it's a twist. And in that particular point, another friend of these two daughters is actually getting married only as a monetary exchange. It's not the love of the life or is not a perfect match kind of a thing. And she's crying. And these two girls go and try to talk to her. Say, why are you crying? You get married, you live happily, you can. And this girl gives one statement to these two girls. He says, I am being sold to an old man who has more money. You both at least have to be happy because your dad is trying to make something out of you and you don't know what it is. And it was that night when these two girls sat down, closed their eyes, they were thinking, what is happening? They looked eye to eye, and then they realized that, what was happening. And from there, the story is the movie takes a different direction, right? And I'm urging each one of you to have those kind of conversations with your own mind in your head when things go wrong around us. Things will go wrong. Let's be honest, things will go wrong, things will not go the way it has to. But I think we got to speak in a very meaningful, intended way, and then I feel things will change because I have been in deep shit, if I'm allowed to say that, but it's only because of my self-talk, it's only because of how I speak. Sometimes even the shadow fades off when there is no light, and then you are bloody alone, which means even your shadow is not with you. And those are the times we really have to look up to asking people as to what are we supposed to do. Because when we don't know what we have to do, that's when our emotions can pull us to do something really not correct. So I envy all of you all for continuously meeting and being associated with David here. I envy all of you all in a very good sense is what I'm actually saying this. And thank you, David, for being here. And in fact, I should thank each one of you for getting me those moments where I pull out these from my own life and give it to each one of you. So I'm not doing any of you a favor. Each one of you are doing me a favor by giving me this opportunity to share. So with that long gap, I would want to hear from Akanksha. Akanksha, please go ahead.
Hello, Pavan, and thank you for the awesome story. I completely relate with Sarish and Sirat. I was thinking on the same point. And also to add on that, he was there for just a minute. Just a minute, he can see him. And his fantasy world would be, excited and everything. That was an exciting part. But you were the one who was making him uncomfortable to grow. So he was drifting away from you. So you were there. You will be always be there. He knows. But that person will be only for a second for him. And that will bring him a happiness and showing everywhere.
I guess it
think
is.
that
So
is
if you're,
frozen. Yeah.
I see that. All right. So what I understand, I think we'll definitely wait for her to come back and share her thoughts again. But what I understand, the message that she was trying to put forth was, it's like people who push us to go out of uncomfortable zone, because I push Prashant to go out of his comfort. We're not liked, right? That's true. That's really, really, really true. And also sometimes I won't blame, the society's euphoria always, but sometimes some people, the way they even challenge other people to grow can be better. It sometimes the language can be better, the mechanisms can be better. I know a lot of parents who shout at their children, who, you know, really push them to study even if they don't like to study, because they know what kind of life they have and they know what kind of life their children can have if they study better than them. It is true. But the mechanism, but the language is not really good. That's something that, we need to be a little mindful of, especially if we are pushing other people to go out of their uncomfortable zone, then we need to. And also, even with us, I noticed this with one of my friend. When her friend had done something not correct, my friend said, "Hey, that's okay. That's fine. We'll get another chance. Don't worry." And she put her hand on him and she was patting his back and said, "Come on, come on, come on." A staunch difference was when she had done something wrong on similar lines. She was so critical about herself. She was so critical about herself. And I was wondering, similar mistakes, but you was so much of compassion for our friend. But similar mistakes, when you think you did, why were you so harsh on yourself? Sometimes we're really harsh on ourselves. And when it comes to others, we are so compassionate. It's okay, that's fine. Come on, it'll be fine. You'll bounce back. You do well next time. La 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 la. We take them to a la la land, right? And sometimes when we do similar mistake or even a mistake of lesser impact, we get so critical of ourselves. I've seen people smashing their heads with so much of effort and cribbing. They throw things. They kick the buckets in the bathroom. I mean, in a real sense, is what I'm saying. And then they break things. They thump their phones. They tear things. Like every thought of ours has its own vibrations, right? Sound comes from vibrations. So thought also vibrates. So these are all the things that I always like to share, because these are the things that I share with my children. I'm a simple man. I'm really not, what David tries to say is this, is that, is this. Okay, I'm so open enough to tell you that I'm an author, but my book is really not done well. I'm okay with that, because my idea was to document and put it, is not to get some title as bestseller or something like that, because I wanted that as a asset for next generation. That is what I always think are real assets. So it's okay to fail, it's okay to be miserable, it's okay to go low, but it is not okay to hold all of that within ourselves, as simple as that. Does that make sense? How many of you agree with me on that? If you agree with me, just give me a nod or a thumbs up or a high five, or each one of you, or this, or come and bang the camera also. One of you doing that. Okay, everything is okay. Everything is okay, because even rain doesn't last for long, right? Sun has to shine. As simple as that part. So I will definitely hear from Nadeem and then David for sure. Yeah, it's how fast you bounce back. Internet is unstable. Absolutely okay. Fatima says, thank you. We appreciate you. I appreciate each one of you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. Yes, Nadeem ji, please go ahead.
It was very nice meeting you, Pavan. Actually, when you are telling the stories, so many things were happening. Like I was a former international hockey player. So most of the time, I am in that place where people come and takes selfies with me. And sometimes they really come after listening to my story and they know me. And sometimes they just want to take because everybody else is taking.
Right, right, right.
Mindset. And the second story which you said about Dangal really
Mhm.
relates to that. In my life also, whatever I am today, it's because of my coach. When he
Wow.
started me to do certain things and everything, when I surrendered to him, then only my growth has happened. And we are all very lucky to have a mentor like David today to push us every day from morning to evening to do certain things. So I am a champion once upon a time, but in life, we need a coach, we need a mentor every time. So we all have this, mentorship. So I invite you to come and join our Fire to Wire and be with us. And
Fabulous.
very nice session. Go on.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. And while I say that, I really do not want anybody to associate anything negative with taking a selfie. This was my curiosity as to, like, I work for everybody from morning till evening. But why is that if you're not there with us, and why is it with others, right? Sometimes I sit and, crib like a monkey, say, come take a picture. Recently, this happened in our school annual day event. Nadeem, you won't believe this, okay? I went on the stage and I had to address all the parents. I spoke only for 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes, I just told them, don't get up and walk in between. Don't get up and go out once your kid's performance is done. And don't wave your child, when you see your child on stage, because the rest of the kids will be like, where's my dad? And the whole show is gone. So don't do such things. I didn't see even one parent pull a phone out and click my picture. The minute their child came with one costume, unidentifiable. You can't identify who the child is, but everybody's phones are out at the right time. So I was asking, excuse me, I've worked on this for like 2.5 months to get your children on stage, and not one person clicks a photograph of mine. And when your children come, everybody clicks a photograph. Wow. I don't like each one of you. And everybody were laughing, and everybody, it was in jest, I'm saying that, I'm not saying that as a complaint kind of a thing. But yeah, I genuinely believe a farmer, a army man, and a teacher, all of these three, especially in the country that I come from, India, they're really, really not given the due respect of what they really deserve. Right? I believe that. So Sridhar Ranganathan, who is one of my guiding star, he told me one beautiful thing. He said, um, there is always mediocre majority and a meaningful minority. Okay, there is always a mediocre majority and a meaningful minority. And he says, you choose. Are you going to go to be a mediocre majority, or do you want to choose to be a meaningful minority? And he says, if you choose to be a meaningful minority, you'll be harassed by these mediocre majority. You have to be put up with them for a long time. And if you choose to be a mediocre majority, you'll lead a comfortable life, but you may not really unpack your true gift of what you were sent here for this earth. So he says, World War III can happen when meaningful minority stops influencing the mediocre majority. That's his World War III. He says World War III can happen when meaningful minority stops influencing the mediocre majority. He says when the mediocre majority is deciding what the world should do, we are all doomed to death. So yeah, you know what, David, what comes to my mind now, I don't know how fair this is, or as a request, one of the mastermind sessions, if you're okay, I will invite Sridhar here to
Please.
talk to all of you all. Is an amazing source of inspiration, and I really look up to him. Though I bully him, saying that you're not my influence, you're my bad influence. you're this, you're that. I call him my bad influence because after he speaks, I can't sleep. I'm bustling with ideas. I do more things. I put up more tasks. I write down so many other things that these are my action points. And my 3 month planner starts working up. Things in school change. My teachers start seeing different things. So I say, you're bad influence. You always, trigger so many things inside, and I hate you. And then I say, I love you a little more. So
I'd love that, Pawan. I love that. I will connect with Soumya and arrange that sometime later in
yes,
February or
yes, yes.
something like that. That'll be great. Thank you.
So
Um,
there we go, David. I think I'm very well within my 45 minute. I just
No,
paused
you're
my.
allowed to talk long. You're not allowed to go. You're supposed to stay here longer. Let me just add to one of your points that you mentioned, Pawan, about dad. And many misinterpret a lot of this, and they don't acknowledge that. I was in the same boat. I was totally in the same boat. Could not understand why my father would do certain things, because we were at two different frequencies. And we, as we are growing, our education panel is up here with the new age, so to speak. They are where they were, how they were brought up. So we must respect and acknowledge and edify that. And that's why some of them do so much unconditionally, the unconditional giving, 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 giving. And I remember one of the things that triggered me was he made this comment where if you're in India, this is very particular. If you're in a profession, and the family's in that profession, they expect the children to follow that profession. Okay. And many, get their careers ruined because of that. And I probably was one of the upstarts that didn't agree with that. And I said that to my father. I said, I don't want to be involved in medicine. Primarily because I see how you and mom work and where that's taking you guys to. And he said, well, if you don't comply with it, you can move out. You know how parents are? They didn't say that intentionally, but they did say that. Now, today's terms, we would take it and misinterpret that. I said, okay, I'll move out. So, but the thing is, their love and their unconditional love is there so much that what they do is, when you move out, they watch you still because they're caring for you. That care doesn't go out. And when you start success in another fraternity, which is in business for me, he starts following me. And he says, my son is doing this. He's one of my best promoters. My son is doing this. So you can see the dad's mentality is they might say something, but they do not mean it. Which totally, I began to relate to that. And now when I talk to parents and I see kids, I understand and I tell them, you got to have this empathy. You got to be in their shoes. They were brought up in that area, in that era, and this is how they come through. So you have to have that extra empathy, the extra understanding. And in so doing, you then actually indirectly have, in today's terminology, when we talk about all these programs and everything that you conduct, it's your hook to get them to connect with you. And that's the basis in which, we promote this. And I salute my dad for that, coming from the army, medical officer, all of that type of thing. Because of those disciplines, a lot of those disciplines percolate to a lot of us without even us knowing it, through osmosis. And that process is what many of us are struggling to get by paying thousands of rupees to other influencers to go look for it. And it's in the home. It comes from the home. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up about your dad. And the funny thing is, they're so, I wouldn't say antiquated, they're so rigid. Once I was observing how he was dealing with my daughter. This was when Prashana was very, very young. And he would cuddle her. So one time I decided I'd go and cuddle him. He was stiff. He couldn't move. He was as stiff as. And I said, what's wrong? He said, I'm not used to being cuddled. I said, you cuddle my daughter. You see the difference. I mean, this is what it is. Just a man against man type of a thing. But until you break that, you're nowhere. But thank you for coming and sharing these type of intricate things. It's valid. And I also concur with you. You know, it doesn't matter how many times you fall. You fall, I keep telling our team, you fall 5 times, you get up 6. You fall 6 times, you get up 7. And you keep going because ultimately that's where you're going for. So really appreciate and thank you for that. But please don't stop. We're going to continue with you again, Pavan. Thank you. Navas, next person up there.
No, but David, you will have to tell me when to stop. See, we are teachers. We are always used to. You have
my, my wife Laurie asked me as I came downstairs, do you need a bell? The ding dong bell. I said, no, Pavan is okay.
You know, one of the spaces where I was addressing, 300 people, I said, only when you clap really hard, I'm going to stop. Otherwise, I don't know when to stop. And they immediately started clapping. I was like, I got the message. I'm going.
Oh, God.
It's I saw two digital hands go up. Nothing.
Yes, it was me.
Yes, no. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I wanted to tell you what you said earlier. David's favorite on that similar lines is, do you major in major things or do you major in minor things? That's what he's always asking us. And David, you mentioned about parents not meaning what they say. I think they mean what they say at that moment in that situation, but their intention is always so good and pure. That's what matters. The intention. And we, at that moment, the child doesn't understand the intention. They just hear the words. And that's why they feel hurt. But when we are matured enough to understand later, we understand the intention of our parents, and that's when it makes that big difference.
So,
thank you.
now, as if you allow me to do this, then in the interest of everybody here, I really want everybody's permission to ask this big question for all of you all, right? And that question would be this. I'm picking up from what Nawaz just said, right? From today, can we consciously try to pick up the intention when somebody is trying to communicate than the communication itself? Can we ask more questions? If we are not satisfied, can we ask them, more doubts, more clarifications before we make our own meanings about another person? Can we always, before we get judgmental, before we make an opinion, I have always had these experiences. Teacher gets 2 kids to my room and she says, these 2. Sir, this fellow, he's been a naughty boy from the first. So this fellow is fighting and this is the scene. You please take action, right? The first thing that I asked the boy is, like, did this happen? Did he really do it? Ma'am is saying that, you hit him. Did you hit him? And after hitting, what happened? Did you get physical with him? Did you punch him? Oh God, okay. Were you satisfied? Is your heart feeling really calm now after you push this boy? Do you feel that you have a sense of achievement? Because I believe right now in the times of where I'm teaching, punishments are blur. They're not useful at all. I send some children out of the classroom. I say, you know what? Go out of the class. You don't sit in my class because you are disturbing. The child will happily go. I have a set of children who are outstanding students because they're always standing out. They would never want to come inside. No punishment would work for them. Trust me on that. Then, why is punishment even given for a correction? So when I ask, these kind of questions, I really urge each one of you, to ask when somebody is communicating, especially from what Nawaz just said. Parents, at the moment, they may say something or they may not say something, but their intention is always pure. So can we be massively curious about the person communicating to us? I had one incident where one parent was very angry. They're very upset with you. I said, okay. Now I didn't respond. I didn't defend. I didn't argue. I was only curious. I was so curious that I wanted to understand. Right, go ahead. Tell me what is it. All right, this happened. Okay, that happened. All right. And I probed and probed and probed. And finally, I asked her, it looks like you are irritated with this. What does that irritation want? She didn't have a question for, few seconds. And then after a few seconds, she said, no, I don't want that to happen once again for my child in the school. I said, I hear you. And I want to tell you this, that this has already happened. I can't change that. But I will assure you that we'll put my level best of efforts to make sure that that does not happen once again. Would that be okay for you? And she said, yes. And from that day, that parent has been the biggest flag bearer of our school. She's all for us. A person who walked into my office to pin me down and say, this is wrong, this is not correct, right? I only kept asking her the intention question. What's the intention? You're angry. Okay, what is it for? Okay, what happened? Okay, that happened. But what do you want? What does that irritation want now? And finally, we all, reach one particular point that, people's behaviors are not what they are. People's behaviors most of the times are their defense mechanisms to protect themselves. Everybody wants peace, and in that process of peace, they do a lot of other, things for others. That's what I've been witnessing. I'm lucky enough to, meet and interact and learn from a lot of people in my life. So my ask is only this from each one of you. Can we always focus on the intention of the communication than the communication itself? And we can keep asking more questions, from the zone of communication. If that helps, how many of you, think that that's a valuable statement or a valuable
Yes.
way to look at life, right? You can just give me a heads up so that I will, just raise hand. And
So,
David G, you are recording this. I really, really, really want the link or the copy of this because, like I said, you are helping me get the good stuff out of me, and I would really want to document it and share it with other people or probably do something more meaningful. I have two more people, and I will give Shirish and Sirat the last chance because we've not heard from Fatima. Right, go ahead, Fatima. Then Shirish, yes, please.
Thank you, Pavan. Such a beautiful discussion we're having. I just, you prompted something that came out of me. And I remember at the time I was going through a very difficult time in marriage, and my husband said, if you don't like it, you take a hike. And I thought, where am I going to take a hike? I'll just stick it out. And then one day I packed my bags and I moved to my mom's house. And my dad was very understanding. And my mom says, what are you doing here? Go back home. She was so unsympathetic. And I thought, okay, well, if he comes to fetch me, I'll go back home. This is 20 years ago, right? And I had no choice but to make it on my own. And I have no regrets because I made it on my own. And I still have a marriage intact 28 years later. And I thank my mom for that. She's not here now, but she was very good to me in her own way. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you. That's much to share.
Can I ask you one question here? It's a very powerful story. I'm so intrigued to ask you so many things, but I just want to ask you this question at this point of time. What has been your biggest learning?
My biggest learning is sometimes we get pushed into corners to grow. And when you decide to take the challenge on, you make it happen. You find the way to make it happen. There's no way that you're going to fail because you have a vision of success for yourself. That's what I've learned. Thank you.
Thank you. We should thank you. You should thank us for this. We should thank you. And if I always see Surabhi, Nawaz, Suresh clapping with Mariam, so I think that deserves a good round of applause, right? Come on, and let's give it to her. That's not easy, right? That's really not easy. And That's why I said I have, a lot of things to ask. Right? I would like to hear from Anda. Am I getting your names right? Anda, am I right? Okay, thank you.
Hello, Praveen. Thank you. Yes, you are getting my name right. You started off your discussion this afternoon by saying how energetic David is. And I had the privilege of traveling with him for 21 days through India. And I'm so glad that you renamed him for me because this is the perfect name, My Bad Influence. You've got a new name.
Hello. Don't disclose any of the Goa stories here.
But Praveen, thank you very much. It's such a delightful session. It's so nice to listen to your stories and to take some golden nuggets away from here this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you, and for that. And I can only say, that every time anybody is thanking me, all of that credit should go to all those people, who've made me. It's not me, I'm only a messenger, I'm just here because there's so many people who feel so much inside me. It's too small for me to even take any credit of any of it that you're giving. And yes, if somebody wants to appreciate the time that I'm spending here, then wish me health and wish me good growth and wish me prosperity. I'm at the edge point of takeover of a bigger school. I believe that we want to grow now and we want to influence more children. So wish me good luck for that and pray for
Amin, Amin, Amin.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you so much. And yeah,
best wishes.
thank you, David. Even if you're a bad influence, don't regret having me here. Simple. Thank you, Revati, and Tata's lovely word. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to compliment you. The understanding of today's generation is the boon to you that will take you to heights. So that is what is lacking in today's world where teachers are working. So God is always with you and God is taking ahead so that whatever the next generation will come will go through your hands. So I wish you all the best. Yeah.
That was not a wish. That was a lot of pressure. Just listening to what he
Because
said.
yeah.
Well,
It's not a
when
pressure because you're having that understanding, na? So it will go on easily. So nothing.
Thank you. Now, I was just saying it in jest, and I also have to point out a staunch difference with the shift in the thought process of teachers of late. From I've been teaching from the last 19 years. I'm a very passionate math teacher. I do a lot of game-based teachings. I want to teach children without a book and a board. Everybody is using mathematics. A dog is using mathematics. A person jumping out of a train is using mathematics. A honeybee is using mathematics. It's the only animal that builds its home upside down, anti-gravity. With so much of technology today, we still build a home from bottom up. But honeybee is the only animal that builds it top to bottom, and it uses the strength of a hexagon. So like this, I go on, and I can go on giving many examples. However, the only thing that I want to share is the thing that scares me is a lot of teachers today come to teach for an income and not for an outcome. Right? Just have a look around of what is actually happening. That a lot of them, I mean, I think it doesn't even just stop only to teachers. You'll also see a lot of people around because a lot of people are doing things only for an outcome. So in income, not for an outcome. I mean, I'll just repeat that. A lot of people in life are doing things only for an income and not for an outcome. And I believe that transition has to change. And for that, I also believe you're all the meaningful minority because you all choose to spend your time, in sessions like this. I just can't, imagine the kind of places that you're going to be and the goals that you will achieve and the results that you will get, because you're continuously week after week you're associated with these kind of thoughts. Because where do you find this mastermind? Where do you even find people and spending time? Half of them are on Netflix binge eating, or other half is talking about the other half of the world. They're consumed by content. It's a very weird direction when I see the youth of the nation going. They look like as if they're respecting everyone with their heads down, but that is not respect, because they have a gadget on their hand. That's why their head is down, and that's what really worries me. And that's why I really want to be a bad influence in the lives of teens. So every time I meet them, I really want to be the David's bad influence in the life of teens. As simple as that. But now David, is like, block Pavan from WhatsApp. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Fatima. I read that. And Pavan, under pressure, you become a diamond. Okay. I really like that. And best wishes for your future endeavors. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I see 3 hands go up. We will go to Sirish and Sirat. David, you have to ring a bell. Otherwise, don't blame me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Sirat, please go ahead.
I just wanted to build up on what you said, and that was exactly the point I wanted to make. David always reiterates faith, and trust is something that having faith and trust is something that was there in the previous generations, right? So they would do things, but the underlying intention would always be having faith and trust. And even if that boils down today, now people have lesser faith. They don't trust people very easily, and that has caused a very huge disparity when it comes to interacting with people and creating bonds. But
Yep.
If we could incorporate that and make it, we probably learn that from our elders and incorporate it into our daily lives, then that would help us succeed further. And I just wanted to say that the turning point in my life came because of a teacher, and I cannot forget her. She was so pivotal in my growth, because now I have become like a speaker, like I talk, and everyone is like, they support that. But there was a time when I did not utter a word and I was very underconfident. And there was just one English teacher who told me, "You write so well and you speak so well, and your thought process is so unique that you can really inspire." And that was the time that I was in probably my 10th or 11th, and that just completely changed the game for me. Like in a year, in 12th grade, my answer sheet was being distributed as model answers. That was the intensity of change that came about in just 1 year of being under that teacher. So I can never forget that. तो हमारे तरफ से विनम्र प्रणाम है सारी teachers के लिए, because we have a lot of teachers on our platform. So just want to send some salutations towards them as well, because they play a very pivotal role in our growth. And having faith is when you have faith in another person, that gives you that kind of confidence that no matter how much faith you have in yourself, if that important person trusts you, has faith in you, there is nothing like it. It's that backhand, the hand on your back that is just pushing you every day, and you constant reminder that you can do better, you can be successful.
Absolutely. I mean, there are no two words, because, when you use words like trust, I have to tell you this, because in our school, long story, I'll cut it short. 2 kids fought. One kid goes home and tells the mother. The mother comes and, shouts at the other kid in front of the school, and they go home. Then this kid goes home and says, "You know what? I fought with my friend, but his mother came and shouted at me. I think you should come and shout at him, because there's no fault." So other mother also comes the next day and shouts at this kid. Now, both of these parents meet and they fight. Okay. And the best part is, in 4 days, there is an inter-house competition, and these 2 kids are from the same house, and they are playing throw ball on the ground, and within minutes, their differences and their fights is just moved off, and they're giving high fives because they're winning points to their teams. And the staunch difference is, even today, those two mothers don't trust each other or they don't speak, right? These two kids who started all of this are like this. On the graduation day, they took selfies and they were crying and they hug each other. They're out, they're all in touch. Probably, they're having a good time as friends. But those adults who fought are never going to come back or never going to speak, right? And that's the ego of an adult sometimes. So when you say trust, I think the trust factors and the doubts only come from, their egos. So that's why I say I'm so blessed, with such real experiences as real stories in my life, when I'm like, okay, whenever I fight, after the fight, I do not have to operate like an adult. I'm a child. The child in me should start talking, you know what? Okay, I fought with you. I don't know why I fought with you. Tell me, clarify, let go. If you are always wearing the adult hat, oh my God, you're draining your energy on justifying as to why you were right in the fight. You even lost the person. And it is only the child that wins over people easily and not the adult. So, yeah, those are the thoughts that are coming. Yep. So, David G,
I
आपको
think,
बोलना
yeah,
है, how much time I
yeah,
have?
I know we have extended it. Thank you, Namrita. One last question of Namrita. I don't think she had a chance. Yeah. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Navaz. Yeah.
actually, David, this is not a question. It was for something else. Thank you so much for bringing in Pavan to today's session. It was such a bliss listening to every word from him. Thank you, Pavan. Thank you so much for the wonderful, wonderful session. I loved every bit of it. One portion that I would like to mention here is about your talking about just know the intentions and you'll feel good. And starting this lesson from you only, I can understand the intention, the passion with which you are going with the growth and future of kids, students, children. It touches my heart because somewhere in my world, I am also so much touched with kids, their stressful life, their friction, their growth in life. And so I can see where you are heading to, what great you are doing, and I wish you all the best in life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Namrata. I am blessed. Thank you so much. That's why I said I don't want to use a PowerPoint. It's just a conversation, real experiences, real people, and real stories. I think, these are some things that we remember for a long time. Every time, I hear real stories, they're in my head for a long time. Every time I've seen PowerPoint presentations, I'm looking, where's my coffee? These growth charts, these pie charts, the colorful stuff, I'm like, oh God, when is this gonna get over? Sometimes I have been there. So, I tell them, just keep all of that aside. Tell me what you want to tell me. I'm listening to you. Go ahead. Speak your heart out. That's what means everything for me. And that is missing today because people are so comfortable communicating on their devices that I sometimes, I have this policy. So anybody who comes into my room to have a talk to me, had a chat with me, they have to drop their phones out with the office and come. And I promise not to use my phone whenever I talk to anybody because I believe in giving eye contact. It might sound very simple for a lot of us here, but the biggest thing, especially in coaching, of what I've understood is you don't have to do anything or speak. Just give them genuine eye contact and listen to them. A lot of their, challenges is gone because one, they have a genuine listener. They don't have a listener. They have a genuine listener. They have a genuine listener who's listening from their heart, and that resolves a lot of energy and that can automatically come back. And last but not the least, I only pray and wish that each one of you would have probably found your purpose or gift. If not, continue being curious about it. And once you find your gift, share it with everyone. And once you start sharing it, do make sure that you create good amount of wealth and assets with that. Do not give everything away for free, because sometimes when you give everything away for free, it's not valued. And sometimes when you don't give anything and charge for it, it's valued. Because my friend bought a box and he gave it to me and said, open it. I opened it. I said, smell it. I said, okay, what is it? He said, Swiss Air, $1. It was packed stuff. I said, what? Did you pay $1 for Swiss Air when you bought it? I'm like, so sometimes when you pay, there's a lot of value for it, right? And last but not the least, I would, probably want each one of you to have a revolution in your own heads in a very meaningful way, so that understand this, that you and I are not here forever, but our work can be, our presence can be felt. I've been heavily influenced by Swami Vivekananda, and even if he is not here, I can feel him through his words, through his sentences, through his the content that he's done. So I would urge each one of you, even if you remotely think that your content is not great, I disagree. I completely remember what Fatima said, that sometimes you will be pushed to a corner and there can be nothing that can happen, and that corner can bring the best out of you. And that is what she's done. And every sentence of each one of you is so true. So go ahead and value your own opinions first, because we don't value our opinions a lot of times. And Tom Hiddleston said this. He said, give me an apple, I'll tell you how many seeds are in it. But give me a seed, I can never tell you how many apples are in it. And each one of you and your thoughts are like those seeds. Thank you. Thank you, David, for having me here. All the best to each one of you. Yeah, I like this, couple of them are doing this. I really like this. A beautiful heart for each one of you, right? Have a fantastic time. And I will never say more energy and more power to David, because he's already got a lot of that. I will only, this is the only time that I'll say more calmness and more peace to David, so that his energy can rub to all of us, and we can choose to operate through very high energy, which can bring a huge difference for all of us, right? I will sign off from here. Thank you so much, each one of you. See you, everyone.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wish him more sleep as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pavan.
Pavan, you were great. And you
My
made it so humorous. I think this is one of the most humorous and enjoyable sessions we've ever had. Thank you.
My
And your
pleasure.
stories are going to remain with us forever.
Okay. And yeah, if by chance if we happen to meet and cross paths, then pull your phone out and click a selfie. And you know why we're saying that.
We are already having a selfie with you
Oh, then
now.
wait.
Just wait. We will do it
Done.
right now.
Yeah.
We can all put him on speaker. Hey,
Thank you.
David, why don't you pin him?
Ladies, thank you,
Why
ladies
don't you
and
pin him?
gentlemen. Thank you so much. Speechless, to say the least. Pavan, what do I say? Humility, joy, simplicity. My gosh, everything that we've been trailing with comes through in all that you've said throughout the night. And I know, based on what you've done in the past, the inspiration in which you portray the knowledge is what is most important. And I really feel it's experience. It's people who have walked the trenches, walked the walk, and now we do the talk the talk. You can see the difference. And I salute you for that, man. I really salute you. Truly appreciate what you've done for the group. And I'll take you up on the offer for the next session with your mentor too. Thank you once again. And thank you for the extended time. You're very kind in sharing it with us. Truly appreciate it.